Hello and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Judith. Today we're doing a vegetarian stuffed pasta. So we're going to start with some olive oil in a warm pan. We don't want it really hot. We're not going to try and brown anything at this point. We're just going to try and soften some onions. Get about 1/4 cup of onions there. And we'll give that about a minute or so. So after about a minute or two, once the onions are starting to look a little translucent, starting to lose their raw edge, we're going to add 2 cloves of garlic that have been minced. And the garlic won't take long at all, because we just want it to get to the point where you can smell it, really. Once you can smell the garlic, it's fine. So now we're going to turn the heat off. We're going to take the pan off the heat. We're going to let that cool because we are going to mix it in with some other ingredients. So we'll be right back with that. Alright, we're back. Our onions and garlic have cooled. We are now going to put them into a bowl with some, let's get that over there, steamed and chopped spinach. You want to steam your spinach and drain it and then squeeze the moisture out. You know, get as much water out as you can. And then chop it. Alternatively, you could use some frozen spinach. Just make sure you squeeze the water out of it. Now we're going to put our onions and garlic in. Next, we have some ricotta cheese. We're going to put in a generous amount of ricotta. And that's about half of a 475 gram tub. Now at this point, if you want to add some herbs, like rosemary, oregano, that is when you want to do that. So give me a moment to go get my herbs. And if you have fresh herbs, go ahead and use them. But it's not necessary for this dish. I have about a teaspoon of dried rosemary that I have ground in the mortar and pestle. Then we're going to add about half a teaspoon of thyme and probably 2 teaspoons of oregano. Make sure you mix everything thoroughly so you're not getting some of your shells with more seasoning than others. Now once we have all that mixed together, we want to add some grated mozzarella cheese. And you do want a high fat, a good melty mozzarella. Stir that. You want a good brand of shells so that they hold together. And you want to cook them not quite all the way, like seriously al dente is too cooked. So follow your package directions, and you may have to undercook them according to the directions. And then we're going to take a generous spoonful and stuff it in. Now for this, I usually cook 14 shells. Probably only will use 12, but I always cook a couple extra just in case something breaks badly. So you cook the shells in advance and just keep them in cold water until you're ready for them. As a nicely arranged dish, but then the tops here are going to get burnt in the oven. So I like to put them all down so I can cover them with the tomato sauce. Just get them all in there so nothing's going to be sticking up above the sauce too much, which is also a consideration with how many of these you're doing. It's like how big your dish is. There we go. Now the sauce I don't do anything fancy with. It's just a jar of strained tomatoes. Get that open jar. If your hands aren't strong enough, the good old church key. Get it in there underneath, and when you hear it go poof, there you go. And now that it's open, give it a bit of a shake, because sealed, it's not going to shake up well. Now if you want to mix this with some herbs and spices and whatever you like, that's up to you. But I generally just pour the strained tomatoes on. Shake it around so it gets down in there. And we are going to complete the dish with some grated cheese. And we'll be back in a second with that. Alright, now that we've got the mozzarella grated, and this is the same mozzarella that I used in the filling. You want a good melty, so you want a high fat mozzarella. This is not a diet dish by any means. If you want to add some parmesan on top, that is perfectly acceptable. But for me, I'm going to add a Greek salad that has feta cheese in it, and a starter that is halloumi, which is a cheese as well. So it's grilled halloumi with olives as a starter. There we go, 45 minutes at 375, and it is beautiful. You will want to make sure you have a pan underneath it to catch any drips, or your oven's going to be a mess. But we are going to have such a wonderful dinner. This is so yummy. So that's our stuffed pasta shells. They are vegetarian, at least if you eat cheese or dairy products. And this is, I like to call it, death by cheese. We have cheese in the pasta shells, we have cheese in the salad, and we have cheese in the starter, which is a grilled halloumi. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you'll make this dish soon. Please give it a like, comment, and subscribe if you can. I love you, and we'll be back again soon with another video. Thank you.